high school, assistant baseball coach, does a lot of other stuff over there, but he's also one of the guys who's really been a key member of the South Jersey Field of Dreams over there in Absegami, which is a great facility. They got an AstroTurf field over there. Really, every weekend in the fall and spring, they help kids who are facing challenges, whether it be cognitive or physical, and really help them enjoy some baseball games. It's a great thing. You want to bring him on and talk about their opening weekend a little bit. You there with us, Joe?
Yeah. Good morning, Dave.
Hey, how's it going, Coach?
Not too bad.
Thanks for taking a few minutes. For some of our listening audience who's never heard of the Field of Dreams, give us a little background and what you're all about over there.
South Jersey Field of Dreams is a handicapped baseball league. We cater to both physically and cognitively impaired children from ages 5 to, not really sure. We might have some people up in their 20s or whatever. But we've been around for 13 years, and every Saturday, Sunday, Friday, in the fall and the spring, we hold baseball games for these kids. And for them, it's their World Series every week. To hit a ball 2 or 3 inches, maybe 2 or 3 feet, is like hitting a 494-foot home run, by Michael Franco or something like that.
A bunch of years ago when I used to live out near Vineland, I started helping out on Saturdays with the Challenger League, similar setup. And one of the weekends I was out there, I was standing next to one of the dads on the field, and his son was there. Kid was about 14 or so, and he was really fired up. And I asked the dad, I said, man, your kid's really fired up for this game. And he's like, Dave, you have no idea. He starts putting his jersey on Wednesday and asking if it's Saturday yet.
Yeah, that's the case. We hear those stories all the time. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the jersey's on every morning, even though they're not playing till Saturday and Sunday. I've heard stories where mom and dad have told me my son's been up since 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
With his jersey and his hat on, ready to play. And for these kids, it's everything. It's absolutely everything. Without it, I don't know what some of them would be doing, but it gives them the opportunity to be the kid that we all have had the opportunity to be. And again, playing a great game of baseball, what more could you ask for on a beautiful day like today?
Exactly. And I know locally, we saw the Atlantic Shore Babe Ruth team, the 14-year-olds, win the World Series this year, an outstanding job by them. And you see what kids with that kind of talent level can do. But when you're talking about kids who never will get a chance to play regular Little League baseball, how important is this for them to get out there? They get to wear the jersey. And I think a lot of kids who are very good athletes don't really think about what that means to a kid to be able to put on a baseball jersey and feel like a part of a team. It's got to be such a great feeling as somebody involved with this as an adult to see the smile on these kids' faces and to see how important it is for them to be a part of a team.
Yeah, and it's a twofold process down there, and I think one of the processes we kind of stumbled upon. The first thing with our players, the fact that they put the jersey on, is something monumental in itself. But they also develop social skills, interactions with their teammates, with our volunteers. And I tell you what, I've had some kids who started at 3 and 4 years old, playing with us, 5 years old. And over the course of the last 10 years or so, they've gone from hitting off a tee to hitting pitching to fielding a ground ball, knowing where to throw it. So they're learning something as well. They're learning the great game of baseball. They're learning socialization. And the second process that's been absolutely amazing that we kind of stumbled upon is the impact we've had in the local community with the colleges and the high school. It's a real learning experience for our local athletes here in South Jersey. They come out, they help us, and they take a step back and just realize how lucky they are. And that's really, those two things there, the socialization, the increased learning of our players, and then the impact we're having on the local high school athletes as well as college students. It's just absolutely mind-boggling how impactful it's been.
Now, I want to get into a little bit more about that. For people who don't know, pretty much every weekend there's a different high school athletic team out there volunteering, everything from lacrosse, baseball, cheerleaders, basketball. All these teams are out there helping out these kids. It's part of their community service development as they go through their high school years. And I know at Absegami, you guys with the baseball program make that one of the mandatory practices in the spring is to get out there on a Saturday and help these kids out. Tell us what it's like when you see these freshmen who are all very good athletes, and they've been fairly successful throughout their life in the youth leagues, and for them to see these kids and the reaction they have with just being out on a baseball field and being able to be a part of a team and to swing the bat and to go around the bases. I mean, it's such an eye-opening experience for a 14-year-old kid who really probably hasn't been exposed to this yet. Yeah,
absolutely. I think the biggest thing is whether you're a freshman, sophomore, or junior, you've been very successful. You're successful to play at the high school level. And unfortunately, athletes today sometimes get mad at themselves, or they get mad at not doing the right thing. But taking them out there and letting them see these kids who hit a ball off a tee and how they react makes them realize, wow, just how lucky they are. At Absegami, and it's not just Absegami, we've got Cedar Creek, Oakcrest, Mainland, St. Joe, Holy Spirit. You pick a high school in South Jersey, they've come and helped us. And it really makes these athletes take a step back and realize just how lucky they are. And probably the coolest thing with my guys at Absegami is once we get them there once, they come back on their own week after week, and they give back to the community. And they're helping. Sometimes our high school athletes get a bad rap. These kids make you realize just how awesome kids are and how awesome the teenagers are at our local high schools. It really kind of makes them step back and just say, wow, and say thank you for what they do have. And it's a real teaching experience. And it's something that if there's a local high school out there who hasn't come out and helped us, they need to check us out, because it's something that the coaches can really use to build their program and build their relationship with their local communities.
It really is an amazing thing to experience when you get out there. And I hear this a lot. I'm 43 years old, so people in my generation, you hear this a lot where you'll be out at a game or whatever, and they'll say, oh, high school kids, they aren't like they used to be. And I always tell people that's a good thing. I mean, when I was in high school, we never even gave a thought to doing any kind of community service. It wasn't a part of our lives, and these kids are getting the chance to get out there and experience, help their communities, and this is just one aspect of the community service that all these high school kids do. They're so involved with their communities and helping people, whether it be the elderly or in Field of Dreams with some of these youth that are having challenges. Talk about that a little bit, about the development of high school kids today and how important something like this is to them.
Oh, it's monumentally important for a big reason. And the one thing that struck me the other day at school, I walked into the cafeteria and I saw some of our star athletes sitting at a table with some of our kids who are in our REACH program, which is a program at Absegami for some of our more disabled students. And they're sitting there. So they're taking what they're learning at the Field of Dreams, they're using their talents as athletes, and then they're taking it back into their schools, and they are spreading this idea of tolerance and acceptance and community service to other athletes and to other students. So it just kind of balloons. And the fact that my kids, the kids at Mainland, the kids at Ocean City, the kids at Atlantic City, wherever, are giving back to the community is what it's all about. High school sports, high schools, and the local community should all be one. And these kids who help us out at the Field of Dreams are helping to do that. They're making the community, the athletes, the schools, everything, they're making it one. And at the same time, they're learning a valuable life lesson by working with our kids and just realizing how lucky they are. And another cool thing that's happened a couple times, I've had kids who are juniors and seniors who said, Mr. Sabath or Coach Sabath, I think I want to go into special education, or I want to go into, different kinds of therapy for people who are disabled and stuff like that. So it's an unbelievable teaching thing, as well as a great way to the athletes of our community to give back.
We're talking with Joe Sabath from Absegami High School. He's a coach over there, and also very involved with the South Jersey Field of Dreams. Coach, tell us a little bit about what's going on. We got about a minute or two here left. What's going on this weekend? I'm sure you got the mascot out there. It's going to be a lively atmosphere. Where's the park located for people who don't know, and when can they come out and check this out this weekend?
Well, we got games today from 11, 12, and 1, and 2 o'clock, and we're going to be playing the next 4 weekends, Friday and Saturday, starting at 6:30 p.m. on Friday and 11 a.m. on Saturdays for the next 4 weekends. Our field is located in Absecami. The address is 1000 Morton Avenue. It's at Barry Hackett Park. It's on the backside of Pitney Park if you've ever been around there, and I know the Holy Spirit baseball team, JV, plays over there. The best way to check us out is to go to SouthJerseyFieldOfDreams.com. On there, gives you directions to the field, ways to volunteer, email addresses to contact to volunteer your time. And but we got a big weekend. Goodwin's getting ready to get revved up here in a little bit. And Goodwin to go for our mascot. He's going to have a big weekend. And if anybody wants to go out and enjoy this day, come out and see us, because it'd be a time you won't forget, and it'd be a time you want to come back to over and over again.
Definitely. I've been out there myself, and, if you don't get a little bit choked up out there seeing the smiles on these kids' faces, check your pulse. It's an amazing experience. Joe, thanks for taking a few minutes and letting us know what's going on with the Field of Dreams. Appreciate you jumping on board.
Yeah, and thanks, Dave, for your time, and thanks for all the help you've given us as our organization continues to grow. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
No problem. Happy to do it, Joe. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, that was Joe Sabath from the South Jersey Field of Dreams. Get out there and check it out if you can.